So we're going to be doing a shorter stream today. Alright, good morning everybody. So we're going to be doing shorter stream today. I got to run at 5 before the hour. And I just have one trade in today. As you can see, it's on the pound Australian dollar. I entered looking at this downtrend here. So this downtrend. And saw this inside candle. And the inside candle was actually appearing on pretty much all pound pairs at the time. So on the pound USD there, and also on the pound Japanese yen. Right in here. So I thought that was a pretty good indication for a possible bounce there. It did happen, just not enough. Not what I was really looking for. It went about 12 pips and then it bounced back down. I'm looking for any indication for another bounce. I almost had it here, didn't quite have it. So yeah, good to be back, 60-minute man. Good to see you as well. So we're gonna get so how this is gonna play out today is I'm gonna go over like I just told you about the trade I'm currently in, the outlook on that, some of the news that's coming out this week, some of the shorter term trades and longer term trades on some of the main pairs, what to expect possibly from the news, and we'll go from there. So like I said, inside candle took the entry, 0.05 lots. I currently have now 5,000 in the account here, and because I mentioned to you yesterday, I was transferring 5,000 to another account to be run with my EA for the next 3 months. So I'm looking at the 15-minute time frame. I'm also checking the 5-minute, but right now I'm wanting more of a signal or some kind of candle showing me a possible bounce. And on the 15-minute time frame, I haven't quite gotten that yet. So I'll wait for that. News that's coming out today. Let's see if I can pull this up. So we had the building permits, and it was negative. It wasn't massively negative, but it was enough. On the euro US dollar, but it didn't really affect too much. It was kind of a very mediocre response to that news. But I guess it was kind of to be expected with the FOMC just a few days away, a couple days away. All right, so the euro US dollar, we talked yesterday, or I mentioned yesterday that I wrote these or marked these two areas of support and resistance, and was mentioning that if there was a nice solid break above this level, that it could continue up. We had a break, and then it closed down, and then it played with this line a little bit, and then it really shot up. Really hard to play here because it did close. We did have a close, and then the candle right after it closed barely below that level, and then it kind of just hovered in that area for a while, making you think that it might shoot back down from that point. It didn't, but it did act. This level here that I marked did act as a resistance point, and so did this one. Now, if you're looking at this level as a resistance point, looking to continue this trend down or this move down, some of you could have could have sold in this area or in here, If you look down on the 15-minute time frame, you can see that there at the support level, there was an inside candle right after that. A really good indication that this was going to continue down. Now we have the wick on the top. The body of the candle, most of it closed below the red line that I made at 1.12047, so it's a near whole number. And then the candle after was inside and was bearish. So a nice push back down to the next support resistance level. Would have been a great place to for a quick scalp trade of about 25 pips. Well, 20 pips. Same thing happened. Similar things happened on the pound. I had a trade on it yesterday. I marked all these areas of support and resistance. I'll delete the ones that don't really matter right now. I did say that this would probably continue going up over the day, and it did. It went just a bit higher, and then it did end up falling again a couple of times. Now there's possible reversal, a retracement going on right now, or the start of it at least. I'd be looking for a potential retracement up to here before the day is over. That's what I'm thinking may happen, is a bit of a bounce today. But I'm known to be wrong sometimes, so but that's a guess of mine. All right, so for the best trade opportunity I would pick today is the pound Australian dollar. The reason for that, so when you're looking at the news, you see that CAD is not a great option because Governor Pullos is speaking. That could cause some volatility. We don't know what he's going to say, and the yen is not great because monetary statement is coming out sometime. And things are very unsure with the yen right now. I recommend not trading any yen pairs at the moment. If you have trades in, trade carefully. Don't overdo it. The yen is going to see a lot of craziness happening over the next couple of days, and there's speculation of it's going to go down, it's going to go up. There's really no clues on what's happening yet, and it's just complete guesses. So I would recommend staying out of that instead of trying to gamble with it. All right, and obviously the big FOMC. I agree that the forecast is going to be the same, that they won't change. I've been against, I've been thinking that they would increase the rates based on a lot of the news that's happened over the past month. But there's still some looming problems that are still evident. So I think that they are going to play it safe and keep it the same this time around. But they could surprise us, and then that would cause quite a trading day if that was the case. It still may be really volatile, even with the forecast being the same. Now the Australian dollar, we have this, and I am in on the pound Australian dollar. I'm hoping that I'm not going to see a whole lot from this. This is the biggest thing I'm scared about on my current trade. That is Wednesday. I still have a good 24 hours before that comes out, but definitely don't want to be on any yen or USD pairs for this week until after Thursday, until after the news on Wednesday. Okay, then we have this a little later on, so hopefully my trade's closed out by then. In the unemployment claims, there could be something from this, but the expectation or the forecast is not big, is not a huge change. Right. So yeah, guys, keep your eyes open for and be cautious on the USD and yen for this week. Definitely could cause some turmoil on to you if you're on the wrong side. Now, there's a couple of things that I'm considering doing. Is this on this trade? Now you can see that there's a lot of wicks going on here. You've probably seen this before on some of your charts, but where you're still trickling down, or like a slow bleed going down. But it's trying to find some kind of support in this area. And not sure if at this point if it's going to happen. We're at a near a half number at the moment, and the candles are slowly going down. Still looking for a place to bounce back in, but I'm not going to be really anxious on that. Even though I'm not trading the yen, this would have been a trigger for me for an entry for long. It would have been a profit, but I wouldn't be taking yen trades right now. All right, so we're on the 15-minute time frame, and this level has acted as a support level before in the past, just yesterday. Looks like it's definitely acting as a support area again. Where the price is playing with this level, up and down, breaking on both sides. And so be looking for some kind of candlestick that shows a potential bounce from there. Right now, my initial thoughts is that it will go up from here and back and test this area through the rest of the day. Now we're getting a little bit more of a push on the pound Australian dollar, which is a bit unfortunate. 38 pips down. There's a possibility that I might hedge this trade through the course of the FOMC and the yen news as well. Now that the pair that I would consider doing that with, it's probably the pound CAD. That has a pretty strong positive correlation. So I'd definitely sell the pound CAD and then go from there. Probably going to do that now. So what I'm going to do is when I'm hedging, this is a bit of a different kind of story because I don't want my hedge to be the same as my main trade, so the 0.05. I want my hedge to be a little smaller than that. So what happens is when I close out the main trade, which is the pound Australian dollar, I would want to close out my hedge in a small loss, and then the loss would be recovered on the pound Australian dollar once that takes profit. So how I do that is I would sell at 0.02 lots and ride the pound on the way down. So what I do is once I see a good reversal point for re-entry, it's likely that I would close out my hedge trade on the pound CAD. So that's how I'm going to play this out. So less risk on the pound CAD, and the correlation should be decently strong, and it has been for the last while. So I'm not too worried about the hedge going against me. The only way it will go against me is if this does decide to bounce from here and goes and jumps quite a lot. That means that on this side I'll be recovering, but on the hedge side, the pound CAD, I will be in small loss. All right, so going to some questions here. Rinko, guy, yeah, I do actually like counter trend trading, but it's been a bit tricky the last month. Trends have been very strong on most pairs, um, and the moves have been pretty intense. It's not really usual action, and the reason why it's been tricky, and the trends have been so strong is because there's just been so much news that's come out, um, causing very drastic moves on many of the majors. Oh yeah, sure. The news is on the auto trading system is I have. Let's see if I can. Hold on a second, guys. All right, so here it is. Oh, hold on. So I've loaded it. I have 5,000 in the in the account, and I have this running on a VPS server. I'm not sure how to. Oh, there we go. So this is my VPS. You can see it's a live account. $5,000 balance, and currently looking for trades. No trades at the moment, but there will be some going in later today. Later this week, I believe. Let me check. Yeah. So I'm waiting for this. So what the EA is waiting for is for this push up to slow down. It's looking for usually what I do, the same thing I do, is for the push up to slow down and then a reversal to happen. And so it's currently a trade. It's already looking for a trade, but it's looking for a bit more of a retracement before it will enter a trade on the way down, and looking for about 20 pips profit. I finished the test that I mentioned to you guys before. Finally, now this is going to look a little different because I did this with a $5,000 account. So with 10,000, the risk should the max risk should be about 32%. But with 5,000, so I used a $5,000 balance here. So 5K. So to mimic what I would expect on my account, So really good profit over the last 6 years. So 13,368. I finally got the test with 0 errors, 90% modeling quality on Oanda, and a really good equity curve. Now the max drawdown, because I started with 5K, is actually now 55%. That's a bit higher. The thing is that with this EA at the current settings, I'm still looking at more settings. I'm going to be testing for the next few weeks, but I am using these settings live. I'm not too concerned about the 55% drawdown because that only happened once during this entire test, and I know that the EA can handle that, and I'm okay with the 55% drawdown, considering the equity growth and the profit involved. Now the minimum I would recommend is actually 5K because I'm starting out with 0.01 lots on this, and we'll be testing for the next 3 months. The EA trades quite often. I'll see trades going in almost every day. And I think this might have been the biggest time of drawdown was near the beginning of the test, where I had multiple trades. Now, this is a semi-martingale EA, so if you look at the first, and I hope these numbers are not too small, you might not be able to see it, but it starts at 0.01 and then 0.02, 0.03, 0.04, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, until it closes out. Now, it will have drawdown at periods of time when we're waiting for the retracement to happen. Sometimes it can last a month, but if it does, the longer it lasts, the more profit we come out with. That's what these notches are. Is when there's drawdown happening, and it finally hits profit, it jumps up. This is, guys, for those of you who are crazy about martingales, you've got to understand that this is a semi-martingale. This is not a martingale system. Semi-martingales are much easier to work with, and they can work long term. Okay. So here we go. We're still heading down here. Now my hedge is working at the moment. It's not bringing in a whole lot of profit. We have just the dollar, the 33 going on. I should have probably entered the hedge right from the start. So that would have been at 7. So I wouldn't be actually in too much extra profit, about an extra 5 pips or so on this move. So I'll keep an eye on it to see if we can find a good place to re-enter. It's moved down. I'm not concerned about it yet. We're still only in one trade. I haven't even entered a second one yet. All right, so coming back to the forum, to the chat. Good morning, Robert. Robert FX. That's what I'm trying to decide if I want to disclose that my secret with the RMI, because if I did disclose the secret to you, you would be able to basically hire a programmer to trade exactly like this, and I don't think that's very fair because I've spent hours, probably close to hundreds of hours of testing to trying to find the best settings for this EA which I feel like I'm entitled to keep. The secret is pretty awesome though with the RMI EA with the RMI indicator. Like I was showing you here on this trend up, I'm able to find the cutbacks just with using the RMI with the specific settings that I have, and I'm able to catch the very start of that push back down. So in these areas, and then I still usually will have a lot of extra room to move back down for an additional 20 to 30 pips. Same there. So what I need now is for this to come down a bit further, and then I can enter my trades, or the EA will start executing trades. I don't understand why my pound has closed for a loss, guys. This seems a little bit weird. Yeah, because I opened I opened to sell. So yeah, I opened a hedge on the pound CAD, which is a sell at 0.02, and then I still have my pound Australian dollar trade in on the with just the 0.05, which is in about 45 pips drawdown, I believe. It sounded, or 40 pips drawdown. Sounds like some people have had some losses, which I'd never closed out. So I'm a bit confused of what's happening on that side. Robert, did I explain? I thought I explained the semi-martingale already, where you probably know what martingale is, right? It's when you go 0.1, and then the next trade is 0.2, 0.3, sorry, 4, and then 0.8, and then so on and so forth. Now a semi-martingale is 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and then 0.5, and so on. This is a much safer way to do it, but it also gives you some extra profit, additional profit, and it's not putting too much exposure on your account, if done correctly. Yeah, Robert FX it's similar to the OB OSND, yes. So you're talking about doing trying to find those pullbacks just on your own. Well, you can do that, but then I also have to reveal how to trade the RMI. I mean, it's very similar. Let me pull up the actual indicator here. Okay, so the standard settings are 70 and 30, and this is just a regular RMI indicator. I think you can find it custom online. But the idea is once it reaches this level, I mean, it's just, overbought, and once it reaches the red line, it's oversold, and then you can just play out those lines, right? So when it passes, so you'd sell the market there, and it would continue downward. Now there's a lot of things that you guys can do so for example, this is a pretty cool. I haven't explored this too much, although it's integrated into the EA. Where is the? Sorry, there it is. So this is another custom indicator, which is pretty nice. It just shows you the long-term trend. So the green is the up, and yellow is the down. And so this is in a downtrend, right? So what you would want to do for those that are trend trading is enter when the RMI orange line hits the red. So right there, you enter a sell or a short. Okay, and you didn't hit any other time during that push, and then you'd enter a long in this area when right in here for a push back up. Now that didn't happen; it ended up going down. So what you do is any trend trader would likely close out for a loss after the color change of this of the SAR indicator. And you can play it like that, but it's sometimes it's difficult to try to find when the trend is actually strong or when you're not ranging. This is a ranging area in here where it's going from yellow to green, and you can lose on trades in this area if you're not careful. I mean, the indicator does a pretty good job of filtering out these instances. There's this area here, which was a short there. It did end up going down. Luckily, this move here happened after this already switched over, so there was no signal there. But this was a great trade right in here. And let's mark it. Where would it be? So it closed below the red line there. So look at that. That's a really great trend trade, right? It's green. It's been going up. You're looking for a retracement down before you enter on the way back up. So that's just one of the few filters that I have in the EA. I'm not going to tell you. What I won't tell you is the settings. What settings I have the RMI indicator at. Do I keep these 70 and 30? Am I using this indicator as a filter for it all the time? How am I actually using this RMI indicator as a whole? Am I just using these oversold, overbought levels on it? So there's those questions, but that's how an idea of how to use the RMI, especially in trend trading, which can be pretty good. But it also has weaknesses that you have to figure out, because here is another short area where you would look for a trend continuation. But just like with any trend trading, what happens is you potentially get in right when it's ready to reverse completely. And that's the big weakness with trend trading, is that you're getting in near the top in the hopes that it will go down, and it just doesn't. So then you end up closing out for a loss somewhere in here after you enter in this area when this changes over, and then that's that. But then you can get some really good trades. But look at this. Downtrend. Trade here, trade. So you caught all of these moves in here. So I would think that catching this whole entire sell all the way down. I'm gonna have to end, guys. I must run. But I will follow up with you guys tomorrow. I know you have a lot of questions, but I am late for another meeting, so I will see you tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good one, guys, and I'll follow up on the pound Australian dollar trade tomorrow on open. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.